It's a good message to kids.
As someone who's led one of the world's biggest tech companies, if you were the CEO of TikTok, what would you do? Because I'm sure that they realize everything you've said is true, but they have this commercial incentive to drive up the addictiveness of that algorithm, which is causing these echo chambers, which is causing the rates of anxiety and depression amongst young girls and young people more generally to increase. What would you do?
So I have talked to them and to the others as well, and I think it's pretty straightforward. There's sort of good revenue and bad revenue. When we were at Google, Larry and Sergey and I, we would have situations where we would improve quality. We would make the product better. And the debate was, do we take that to revenue in the form of more ads, or do we just make the product better? And that was a clear choice. And I arbitrarily decided that we would take 50% to one, 50% to the other, because I thought they were both important. Mm. So, and the founders, of course, were very supportive. So Google became more moral and also made more money, right? All of there's plenty of bad stuff on Google, but it's not on the first page. That was the key thing. The alternative model would be say, let's maximize revenue. We'll put all the really bad stuff, the lies and the cheating and the deceiving and so forth that draws you in and will drive you insane. And we might have made more money, but first it was the wrong thing to do. But more importantly, it's not sustainable. There's a law called Gresham's law. It's a verbal law, obviously, where bad speech drives out good speech. And what you're seeing in online communities, which have always been present with bullying and this kind of stuff. There you've got crazy people, in my view, who are building bots that are lying, right? Misinformation. Now, why do you do that? There was a hurricane in Florida, and people are in serious trouble. And you, sitting in the comfort of your home somewhere else, are busy trying to make their lives more difficult. What's wrong with you? Like, let them get rescued. Human life is important. But there's something about the human psychology where people talk about, there's a German word called Schadenfreude. There's a bunch of things like this that we have to address. I want social media and the online world to represent the best of humanity: hope, excitement, optimism, creativity, invention, solving new problems, as opposed to the worst. And I think that is achievable.
You arrived at Google at 46 years old, 2001?
2001.
2001. You had a very extensive career before then, working for a bunch of really interesting companies. Sun Microsystems is one that I know very well. You've worked with Xerox in California as well. Bell Labs was your first sort of real job, I guess, at 20 years old. First sort of big tech job. What did you learn in this journey of your life about what it is to build a great company and what value is as it relates to being an entrepreneur? And people in teams, like if there were like a set of first principles that everyone should be thinking about when it comes to doing something great and building something great, what are those like first principles?
So the first rule I've learned is that you need a truly brilliant person to build a really brilliant product. And that is not me. I work with them. So find someone who's just smarter than you, more clever than you, moves faster than you, changes the world, is better spoken, more handsome, more beautiful, whatever it is that you're optimizing, and ally yourself with them. Because they're the people who are going to make the world different. In one of my books, we use the distinction between divas and knaves. And a diva, and we use the example of Steve Jobs, who clearly was a diva, opinionated and strong and argumentative and would bully people if he didn't like them, but was brilliant when he was a diva. He wanted perfection. Right, aligning yourself with Steve Jobs is a good idea. The alternative is what we call a knave, and a knave, which you know from British history, is somebody who's acting on their own account. They're not trying to do the right thing. They're trying to benefit themselves at the cost of others. And so, if you can identify a person in one of these teams, they're just trying to solve the problem in a really clever way, and they're passionate about it and they want to do it. That's how the world moves forward. If you don't have such a person, your company's not going to go anywhere. And the reason is that it's too easy just to keep doing what you were doing, right? And innovation is fundamentally about changing what you're doing. Up until this generation of tech companies, most companies seem to me to be one-shot wonders, right? They would have one thing that was very successful, and then it would sort of, it was typically follow an S-curve and nothing much would happen. And now I think the people are smarter, people are better educated. You now see repeatable waves.